Right. In today's class, we are going to discuss about data flow diagramming, okay, DFDs and its guidelines, right? First of all, DFDs are, as we know that, why are we using this DFDs? These data flow diagrams are used to represent the data of a project, or here by using DFDs we are going to present, or we are going to draw some models based on this data flow diagrams. Okay, it will represent the flow of a data, okay, in between the system. Clear? For that sake, here we are going to use the DFDs here. Okay, what are the, here we are having some few guidelines. Okay, if we'll see the first guideline, all icons must be labeled with a meaningful name. So whatever the icons, which means whatever the symbols we are going to represent, okay, into the DFD diagram, those should be, okay, those should have some meaningful name. Clear? And if you'll see the second point, the DFD evolves through a number of levels of detail. Okay, DFD may have a number of levels. If you want to know about a module in detail, so you will go by the levels. If you see the first level, it will give only overview. Okay, I mean, which means it's a zero level. And if you'll go for level one, okay, it will give little detailed manner than the zeroth level. So like that, level by level, if you want to see, okay, clear details, if you want to know the clear details, okay, how it is going to, and what are the subtasks of that particular function, okay, everything, if you want to see like that, you should read the level by level. Okay, it starts from 0th level onwards. Okay, 0th level, basically here we are going to discuss up to two levels, 0, 1 and 2 levels only. But you have many levels, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 also levels are, if you want to, I mean, apply those levels also you can. But in real time, maximum people will stop, I mean, will execute up to level 2 only, 0, 1 and 2. Okay, so whenever we will go through these levels, so it will give the detailed description about each and every function, or each and every sub function, or each and every action. So it will give a hierarchical manner. Okay, the representation in the form of hierarchical manner. Okay, zero, level zero in the sense it's a top level. Level one, little bit detailed. Level two, okay, more detailed than the level one. So like that, level three, level four, level five, level six, like that, you may, okay, but represent your project, right? So this DFD evolves through a number of levels of details. And see, the third point always begins with a context level. Okay, always we are going to, okay, begin with zeroth level, level zero. It's called a first level. First level of a level zero is a first level. This is also called as a context level, right? It will give the outer structure. Okay, and if you see the next point, always show external entities at 0th level. What are the external entities we are going to use? Okay, to support our project, those should be, those also represented in this level 0 itself. Okay, outer external, which means outer relationships. If you want to represent ATM with, I mean, ATM, ATM and also a human being symbol. So okay, that should be represented by using a use case diagram, isn't it? So there is a external person is there, which means a customer. A customer must interact with a ATM for some amount to drawn or some purposes, right? So what is the external entity here? External entity here, it's a customer. Okay, ATM, he will use that ATM for different services. Okay, if you'll go in detailed, which means the ATM may have different functions. If you want to see the each and every function in details, you'll go for, if you will go for level 2. So what is the withdrawn steps? Okay, and if you want to see that but credited amount, credited steps means in detail. So how it is working, how it is processing. So like that, if you want to, if you want anything in detailed manner, you go through the levels of a DFD. But in 0th level, first level, it will show some external entities who are involved within that system or within that module. Right, that may be end user, that may be a customer, or any kind of people, right, which produce the input, which produce the input. Okay, without the customer, how the ATM will work? No, no. If the customer have a ATM card and he will use that ATM card into the with that mission, then only that ATM will work, isn't it? So the customer is the external entity here. If you want to represent this kind of external entities with some what services, ATM provides some services. Okay, so ATM is one module, so that module provides some services to a customer. If you want to represent that kind of things, then here we are going to represent by using a level 0, or it's a context level here, right? So whatever the symbols you are using, which means for processing symbols or some entities, external entity symbols, you must use some arrows, data flow arrows, to represent the flow of that particular data, right? So here it will show only the functions. It's not showing exactly how it is going to calculate inside. It won't tell us a procedural logic, how it is going to do that particular function within it. We don't know, right? So we have some steps for withdrawn service, but we don't know exactly in detailed steps of a ATM, how it is exactly calculated, and and how that amount will be coming out. So we don't know exactly, but few steps we know in withdrawn process: entering the amount. If the amount is available into a customer account, then it will allow the customer. Otherwise it will warn the customer, you don't have okay, that much of amount whichever you have entered. So like that it will warn the customer. So many things, many actions will have by withdrawn service, isn't it? Right. So these are the few guidelines for a data flow diagram. If we'll next step, here we are having, so constructing a DFD. In next slide we have construction of a DFD 1. So already I told you, 1 in the sense it shows the level 0. DFD 1, first stage of DFD have level 0. Clear? So how we are going to create level 0 DFD here? Okay, review user scenarios under data models to isolate the data objects. So see the so see the user what requests or scenarios to represent the data objects or data model by using DFDs, and use some grammatical names to determine the operations. Grammatical names to determine the operations. Okay, if you see the second point, determine external entities. External entities in the sense it's a producer of data or consumer of data. By following these two steps, you may create level 0 DFD. You may create level 0 DFD here. What we are going to do for in level 0 DFD, just here you are going to study what are the user scenarios, okay, related to some data objects or that function. After that, you should represent even external entities also if you have those people. Okay, then you can create some level 0 DFD. Suppose here I am going to draw one ATM example. It's not an exact one, but just for rough purpose. Okay, assume okay, assume this is some ATM machine. It will process some work. Okay, something is wrong. Some ATM here, and here there is a user, okay, customer, and customer will, okay, insert ATM card. Okay, here you have some customer here. The customer is a external entity here. Okay, he may produce some data, okay, by inserting a ATM card. So this ATM, this is the ATM mission. Okay, this ATM mission will process the, okay, data based on a customer request, and after finishing of its service, okay, it will give the amount to a customer, requested amount to a customer. What is the outcome of this one? So amount, okay, some amount or money. Okay, it will take the input, or it will take the input from a customer, and what it will produce as outcome, it will produce some amount based on the operation. If you will draw like this, it's a 0th level representation. Okay, like this you should think related to your project, whatever project you are going to handle. So what is the base level? Okay, is there any external entities are there or not? So operations, I mean, here which kind of symbol I have used here? Circle symbol. So I have total ATM have mentioned in a circle symbol. Why? Because within that only, okay, the works should be done. And what is the outcome of that ATM mission? It may give some amount, or one more outcome also there. What is that? It may give some slip to the user. After withdrawn, it will give some slips. Okay, that is also one of the outcome. Okay, like that this ATM will be worked. Okay, this is not an exact diagram for okay, ATM, just for a small idea purpose. It's a like rough diagram for getting idea related to your construction of a DFT. Okay. Next, This is the first level. And same, if we'll go for second level, second level, this is the zeroth level na. So if you go for first level, level 1 or level 2, so it will give in detailed manner. This ATM may have different services, that is in level 1. Each and every service may have subtasks, that is in level 2. Like that you should represent. Here you have only three symbols. Here we have already that three symbols. One is what either square or rectangle symbol, and some circle symbol. And for money receiving also you may get this symbol only, rectangular square. But here you are having flow of data. See, this is the, sorry, uh, what is the flow of data here? This is, which means data flow from customer to ATM, and from ATM to amount withdrawn. This is money, ATM to money. This is the, okay, data flow from this diagram, right? If you are going to represent level 1 in the sense, just you should represent the all the services whichever included by this ATM machine. If you want to show in level 2 kind of representation, in the sense, within that you are going to get detailed actions of each and every service. Clear? See, this is the diagram for level 0. Show you the another diagram for level 0, level 1 and level 2. So if we learn level 2, how it is okay, how it is described. First of all, we will learn all the things, I mean all the DFDs, which means level 0 DFD already we have seen, level 1 and level 2 now. Then I'll show you the example of hospital management. Okay, so now we are in level 2, I mean level 1 DFD. Okay, so after representation of 0th level, you are going to represent the level 1. Okay, that is first diagram. Now we are going to represent the same diagram in a second level. Okay, so for that sake, write a narrative describing the transformation. It's like story or a detailed view. So whatever the functions, what are the things you have into your project, okay, or module. After that, here you should determine some next level works also. Should determine the next level works also. After that, balance the flow to maintain data flow continuity. So, first of all, while drawing these diagrams, you should maintain the flow, where we have started and where we have ended. Okay, which line is okay describing which method, like that. Okay, if that flow is missing, if the arrows are represented uh, in wrong way, automatically your total system will damage. So be cautious while working with this kind of what projects. If these are the small kind of projects, no worries. But if it's a big projects, means data flow difference. If we got if you want to send the data to one method, it may take by another method, means you will face many problems, isn't it? If you'll enter the login credentials, okay, to open Facebook or to open Gmail or something, okay, it will go and verify inside with the same login credentials itself. Okay, instead of doing that, it will verify with some other credentials, means you won't open your either Facebook or Gmail, isn't it? So whatever the function we have designed, okay, accordingly, the work should be done. If it is deviated means you won't get proper outputs, right? So that's because here you should care about data flow. And after taking these three steps, here we are going to draw level 1 DFD. So it's a approximately 1 is to 5 expansion ratio. 1 is to 5 expansion ratio, which means one process may have 5 subtasks, sub process. One process may have 5 subtasks, which means suppose now I'll ask you to write the exam. Okay. What is the question? First question, I mean, what is the task I have given you? So please write a exam on SC subject. So student, okay, student ready to write the exam, and after finishing of the exam, he will hand over the script to me and leave the hall. That is general process. Okay, in second step, in second level, what we are going to know in second level, the student came, I mean, if whenever the student is came to write the come to write the exam. Okay, so how many number of questions he has? How many number of okay questions he has? What is the marks of each question? Okay, I mean, how many number of questions he has, that is the second level 2. If we are going for next level, I mean level 1, if we are going for level 2, in level 2 also, what is the marks carried by each and every question? So if he want to pass that, clear that subject, how many marks he needed, like that we are going to represent in level 2. Okay, in level 0 there is a just one subject examination, that is SC, that is in level 0 representation. In level 1, how many number of questions you will get, from which units you will get those questions, that is level 1 representation. If you are going for level 2 representation, so how many marks each question is carrying? Okay, whether you need to explain each and every question in detail or not. Okay, and also if you want to pass this particular essay subject, how many marks you need to score? So everything should be represented in level 2. Okay, detailed view of representation. Okay, so main task having subtasks, subtasks having and again subtasks. Okay, so that is the second level 1 here, actually DFD2 level 1. So if we'll go for next one. Okay, for example, here this is the first one, is a level 1 representation. Here we have one diagram. That diagram up to this is a level 1, sorry, level 0 representation. If you will take x is some customer, he produced some data to some what ATM machine or something. Okay, this is a process unit, and he will get some kind of output. Okay, this is general level 0 kind of representation. If you'll see level 1 of representation means this overall total process, okay, may have 1 2 3 4 5 subtasks. 1 is to 5 ratio, already we have seen. Okay, what is the ratio of the representation of level 1? Here 1 is to 5 ratio. Okay, 1 is to 5 ratio means this is one process. Okay, here we are having one process unit. That process unit may divided into a five number of submodules. 3, 4, 5. Five number of submodules here. Isn't it? So that's why the level 1 is, the ratio of level 1 is 1 is to 5. The main process will be divided into a number of 5 subtasks or subprocess. You may, okay, tell like this. Clear? And if you'll go for level next level means this is level 1. Oh, if you will see the level 2 also means p1 may have number of again here the p1 is also have some other, okay, again some other steps, okay, p1.1, p1.2, p1.3 like this. If you will represent like this is the level 2 representation. Okay, again p1 has 3 submodules for detailed description. Okay, like this maybe this 5 is also having 2 or 3 description. How is diagram look like? See, this is, okay, see here, this is level 0 and up to this level 1, this down last one is a level 2. 3 levels are represented uh, for one example here. How it is look like? It's almost like a hierarchy manner, isn't it? So hierarchical, first level, second level, third level, or zeroth level, first level, second level, like a tree. Tree is also having same root node and what internal nodes, leaf nodes. So like that. There also we are having levels or otherwise a hierarchy manner, right? You will see the overall notes about some flow modeling, overall some few more points about some flow oriented modeling are each bubble is refined until to complete one task. What is the bubble here? It's a process symbol. The process symbol, individual process symbol, each and every process symbol is used to complete a subtask. Right? That is the first point. The expansion ratio decreases. The expansion ratio decreases as the number of levels increases. Okay, whenever the number of levels are increased, automatically the expansion ratio is decreased. Right. Most systems require in between 3 and 7. So most of the big systems may require level 3 to level 7. Till now we have seen only 0th level, 1 level, 2 level. Okay. But you may have, okay, third level, fourth level, fifth level, sixth level, seventh level, like that. Okay, most systems, which means most of the projects are demanded for, okay, 3 and level 3 and level in between level 3 or level 4 or level 5 or level 6 or level 7, okay, representations, okay, to show in detailed view of a module, to show in detailed view of a module. Most of the projects will prefer level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6 or level 7 only, right? And last point is a single data flow item may be expanded as levels increase. So the arrow may be expanded as if the levels are increased, automatically the arrows also increased, isn't it? So these are the important points related to a flow oriented modeling. And if now we are going to see some examples. Okay, this is the one of the diagram for hospital management system. So what is a, here we have one symbol. Okay, that is a hospital management system. This hospital management system. Okay, so this is the hospital management system process. What is the hospital management system here? Hospital management system is one project. Okay, one project. How the records of hospital will be maintained. Okay, and how the employees, how the doctors employees are maintained. So like that, there is a lot of work is there within a hospital. How the things are, okay, should be online by using one project. For that sake, here we are having, actually it is already developed project, hospital management system, railway reservation system. So everything, ATM system, everything, these are all inbuilt projects, which mean which these are all existing projects whichever we are using in our daily life. Okay, college management system or organization management system, many projects are there. Okay, whichever we are using in our daily life, right? Now we are going to see, just this is a hospital management system. Okay, for hospital management system we are going to draw, okay, DFDs, right? The what is the process here? You have hospital management system is a process. Okay, what are the external entities are involved into this hospital management system? Okay, first one, hospital management. Hospital management people are involved into this hospital management system, and the doctors, whoever the doctors are there, recruited under that hospital, those are also coming in under this hospital management system. And login credentials. Okay, so login credentials of the particular hospital. Suppose if employees came, how they'll be open this details of hospital or their personal details. There is some login credentials should be there for each and every organization, isn't it? If you observe some movies, how they'll enter into that rooms, their personal rooms or working areas, okay, by showing their ID cards. Okay, or otherwise by thumb impressions, or otherwise full hand recognitions, or face recognitions. So by using this kind of systems, they may log into their work, isn't it, work area. So here also we are going to discuss about login. And also this is not this. And next, system user management. So what are the actions, okay, with the system? And at the same time, patients records, okay, employee records. Apart from the doctors, many employees are working in the hospital, no? So those employee records and the patient records, and what I mean, each and everything, the maintenance records, system user records, instance maintenance records, login credential details, doctors information, overall hospital information should be stored in, I mean, should be available within this hospital management system. This is the level 0 diagram for a hospital management system here, right? If you'll see the level 1, if you'll see the level 1 diagram, so how it look like? See, this is the level 1 diagram for hospital management system. So what this level 1 has, this same hospital information, patients information, okay, and in this level 1 also, okay, medicine information, okay, fest information, login information, user information, all should be applying to this hospital management system. And what it is going to generate? It's going to generate some reports. Okay, it generates some hospital reports. It generates some patient's reports and medicine reports. If those that hospital has a but a medical room, which means medicines, whichever we are going to purchase, no? So those medicals. So like that. I mean, not only medicine record in the sense prescription, whichever we are going to advise to that customer. I mean, patient, not a customer, patient. Okay, like that. Some medicine reports, test reports. Okay, user login details. When the user is admitted, I mean, sorry, whoever the users are there for this particular hospital management system and everything. Like that, generate system user report. So these are the things whichever we are going to log in into a hospital management system, and whatever the reports we are going to get from the hospital management system. Okay, whenever the patient is what I mean, come to that particular hospital, so automatically they'll take the records, they'll enter the patient record into their system, and they'll give some one what printed or printed copy or some letterhead to the patient. Why? Because on that prescription only something, I mean, the doctor will suggest the medicines and he will write on that particular paper. Okay, we may carry that paper with us. Otherwise he may ask for some tests, means we'll go and okay, uh mean take the tests, and we will submit the reports to the doctor. Again, he will give some medicines according to that his situation, right? So like that, this level 1 is purely about some little bit internal works of particular hospital management system. Excuse me. If you'll see the next level, second level, see, the second level may have in detailed information about some admin. There is a admin, okay, in that hospital. How that admin is, okay, login into the system. If he forgot the password, what are the things? What are the process? Okay, admin directly he log into the system. Okay, enter the credentials, check the credentials. Okay, so after checking the credentials, so what are the roles is having by a admin with this hospital management system? It is going to check the roles to access, okay, for admin. And after that, those roles are, these are the roles which are the operated by a admin. He maintain, admin will maintain everything related to a hospital, isn't it? So like that, here this is the in detail view about a admin. This is one kind of representation. Okay, and now I'm going to stop the class now itself. I'll show, I mean, one or two other diagrams in tomorrow's class.